This training video is to help provide guidance on how to go about finding contacts to call to sell your domain names, as well as looking up the search statistics related to the keywords in the domain names. Now, I'm going to go through the process from start to finish in a dropped domain environment. So if you are working on the file domains, this first section around the spreadsheet would not be relevant, but it doesn't hurt to go through it so you understand both sides of the domain business. So each day you'll receive a domain list that looks similar to the one that's on the screen right now. So I've just provided a short list for training purposes. However, when you receive your list, you'll get somewhere between a couple of hundred or a few hundred domain names to go through. So what we do is we go through the domain list and pick out essentially the cream of the crop kind of domain names that we'd like to work on. So what we're looking for is products, services, trades, professions, and preferably a location in the domain name. So we're looking for keywords that people are going to a search engine on a daily basis and using to find businesses. So we're not looking for catchy or appealing names that could be great company names. We're specifically looking for keyword-rich domain names. So let's go through this list that I have in front of me. So if I go down the list, the first one that stands out for me is this one. So bushfireassessors.com.au. Now, the reason this one stands out for me is because it essentially is a profession or could be a service. I'm not 100% sure that it's worth working on because it doesn't have a location in it, so it could be applicable to anybody nationwide, and sometimes they can be a little bit tougher to sell. But so what I would do is I would highlight that so that I can actually go and have a look at the searches to see if it is worth working on. The next one that stands out for me is this one, so realestatepenrith.com.au. I'd highlight this in yellow. Now, anything real estate wise seems to get picked up pretty fast, and they also get sold sometimes for really high values. So when I get a list, I'll go through the list and pull out all those real estate ones, and they'll be the first ones that I work on. Now, if I go further down the list here, this one stands out for me. So we've got Gutter Cleaning Brisbane. So here we've got a service. And then second, we've got the location. So Brisbane being a capital city, these are really good domains to work on because capital cities seem to get more interest and you're able to sell them at higher values. So I'll highlight that one. The next one that stands out for me would be this one. So weddingcelebrantmandura.com.au. I would highlight this one. So there you've got, a profession or a service, and then you've got the location. And then the last one that stands out for me would be this one. So fencingcontractorssydney.com.au. So we click on, I highlight that one. And then the next thing that we need to do is basically go and look up what these keywords, or how many times these keywords are being searched on a monthly basis to determine whether they're actually worth selling or working on the next day or afternoon. So we need to open a web page. We need to go to the NAD website, the back end, so where the staff resources are. So here we've got the staff resources page. Now, if we scroll down the headings here, you can see here Google Ads Keyword Planner. So Keyword Planner is the tool where we find out the search statistics. Underneath here, we've got the login details, so username and password. If you're using the Keyword Planner on a daily basis, which you more than likely will, and your computer automatically signs in after you put these details in the first time, if you go to log in one day and it's not working, it probably means that the password has been changed because we do change it on a regular basis. So you'll just need to come back to the staff page, get the password, and update it when you go to log in. So if I click on Google Ads Keyword Planner, this particular heading, I'll open it in a new tab. So that will open up a Google login page. So if I come back here, I highlight the username. I click on here, I paste the username that I just copied. I click next. I come back to the staff page, I'll highlight the password details, I'll paste it here, and I'll click next. This will now log us into Google AdWords. It might just take a little bit of time. It could be my internet connection. Okay, so once we're in, we need to go to this top heading part, scroll over to the right-hand side, click on the little spanner that says Tools. It'll drop down a menu. If we go over to the left-hand side under Planning, you'll see Keyword Planner. Click on Keyword Planner. Now here you've got Find New Keywords. So if we click on that, and so with this first one we're going to look up is bushfire assessors. So we put in the keywords only. We don't put in the actual domain name itself. So no .com.au. And we then press return or enter, click get started. And this will take us into the search statistics. So this particular one, which I said I wasn't 100% sure whether I would work on this one or not. If I look down here, you know, really, if this was being searched, it would be this first entry, but bushfire assessors just isn't there. So that tells me that this domain is not worth working on. So I discount that. I move to the next one. So the next one being real estate Penrith. Just move this to the side so we can see. So I click on this little box up here. I exit out of that. Now I type in real estate Penrith, enter, click over here, get results. So under here you can see real estate Penrith. So this tells me that those keywords, real estate Penrith, which is an exact match to the domain name that's on our list for the day, is being searched 1,300 times a month. So that says to me that this domain is really worth working on and it's getting some great search statistics. Now, anything real estate related always seems to have high searches. So if you see that on your list, anything real estate related, pull it out and definitely have a look at the searches because the majority of the time it would be worth working on. Now, if we follow this across, we've got 27 cents and we've got $1.96. What these figures mean is in Google, people can advertise specifically related to these particular keywords. So when we go through, searching on Google for contacts, I'll explain that. But just remember these figures because this can also help you get sales across the line. So, you don't need to remember 27 and $1.96. But, if you kind of remember that these dollar figures are here, we'll explain this a little bit later in the video. So above that, we have a graph, and this shows the last 12 months. What this graph is related to is broad searches. So broad searches mean that these particular keywords, which are in our domain, real estate Penrith, as well as other keywords added onto it or that are relevant, are also being searched on a monthly basis. So it could be real estate agents Penrith or real estate Penrith, New South Wales, for example. So in this graph, it shows you the total, but it also identifies, mobile. So how many people are searching on mobile devices. So we never really use that. It's not relevant, but just as long as you understand what that is. So the blue column here is total. So that's a combination of wherever people are searching on a PC, an iPad, a mobile phone on a monthly basis. So these broad searches, at its lowest, you're looking at 2.1 mil, and then at its highest, if we look, where's the highest one? 2.6. At its highest, I would say, 2.6 mil. So as you get more experienced in selling these domains, you'll use a lot more information presented in this data here. It will be a little bit difficult when you first start, just as long as you kind of know where all the information is and you can refer back to it at any stage. So when you first start, it's probably best to refer to these exact match searches, meaning these searches are an exact match to the keywords in the domain name on your list. Another way to explain these broad searches, you might just say the domain, there's 1,300 exact match searches on a monthly basis. The domain also gets your business in front of more than 2.1 million searches on a monthly basis as well. Or you might say, at its lowest 2.1, at its highest 2.6 mil. So if you just hover over these little blue columns, the figures pop up in a box above that. So that's real estate Penrith. Let's just have a quick look at the next one. So we've got gutter cleaning Brisbane, enter, get results. So here we've got it down here, gutter cleaning Brisbane, 320 exact searches on a monthly basis. Over here we've got $6, $7 and $11. So that means if somebody's paying Google to advertise specifically for these keywords, they could be paying anywhere from $6 to $11 per click, meaning that they pay, say, $11 every time somebody clicks into their website. So if you think about this 320 searches on a monthly basis, even if, say, 100 of those people clicked on their website, they're potentially paying, $1,000 a month? Have I got my maths right? Yeah, $1,100 a month. So if, say, you sold this domain name for $500 or $600, it's a one-off cost of $500 or $600. Their registration fee every year, which is $49 or $49.90. It's a no-brainer. It's saving them a lot of money because they're essentially owning the keywords, and sometimes those people can be the easiest sales. So there's, gutter cleaning Brisbane, same thing. If we look at the top up here, at its lowest, 79,000, and then at its highest, 99,000 searches a month. So this becomes highly valuable to a business that's offering gutter cleaning in Brisbane. Now, if we go down to the next one, we've got wedding celebrant Mandurah. So here, if we look at the keywords here, this one's being searched on average 20 times a month. So it's not very high search statistics. Now, up here, the broad searches seem to be quite high because look, at its lowest, 62,000, and then at its highest, 91,000. So you might think, maybe this is not worth working on, and decide not to work on that because you've got other really good domain names in your list for the day. Me personally, I always work on anything with wedding celebrant, marriage celebrant in the domain because I've always had big success in that industry. So as you become more experienced in the role, you'll kind of know what industries work best for you and kind of what don't. But, initially up front, you won't know that until you kind of get in and you're doing this on a daily basis. So the last one here is fencing contractors Sydney. So we'll just click on that, exit out of that one. Fencing contractors Sydney, enter, get results. So here, this one's got 210 searches. Again, over here, $1.51 and $4.53. So, $4 every time somebody clicks into their website. And then up the top, we've got the broad searches again. So at its lowest, 132,000. At its highest, probably 203,000. So this would be another really good domain name to work on. So I would, as I'm going, and you'll obviously come up with your own process, I would highlight in blue the ones that I actually would like to work on. It's just a process that I follow, but, you'll find your own methods and processes and what kind of works for you along the way. So the next step is to find relevant businesses to contact, to present these domain names. So when you're having a look at the keyword planner, it's entirely up to you how you do it. You might just want to type in here, 210 searches being the exact. So if we put up here, exact searches, and we put over here broad. And then you might just want to put here in excess of 132,000. In excess of 132,123. It really depends what you'd like to do. I like to screenshot these sections. So I actually work on a Mac, so I just Shift Command 4 and I will screenshot that. Same again, screenshot this, and I might save this somewhere because if I do need to use that information, like email it to somebody or whatever the case may be, I've got that information on hand to send them. So if you're on a Windows machine, I think there's a snipping tool where you can actually do that, but you know, my Mac does it fairly good, so you've got, you know, a snip or a screenshot of the keyword planner there if you need to use it. So, like I said, the next step then is to find contacts to call. So let's just use this fencing contractor Sydney. So I'll open up a new web page. The first thing that I do is I go to Google and I type in fencing contractors Sydney and I click enter. So when I do this, the first thing I'll do is I'll look at the top of the page and the bottom of the page. You know, sometimes the first kind of 3 pages, it's up to you, you know, what you'd like to do. So these people at the top and the bottom of the page, you'll see the word in a box add next to their website links. What this means is that they're paying Google to advertise using those keywords in the domain name that we're trying to sell, you know, on a monthly basis. So if we go back to the keyword planner, these people are paying $1.51 up to $4.53 every time somebody goes into their or clicks into their website via that ad. So they could potentially be spending a lot of money with Google on a monthly basis. So you're presenting an opportunity for them to essentially own the keywords in this domain name, which could be saving them a lot of money. So when you think about what they could be spending, so say it was $4 a click, there's 210 searches, say 100 people clicked into their website via that link, there's $4,000 a month. You know, so if you offer this opportunity even at $1,000, when they're potentially, if they, you know, advertise using those AdWords over a 12-month period, they could be spending $40,000 on AdWords, where, you know, they could purchase this domain off you for $500, $600, $900, $1,000. It's still it's a no-brainer when it comes to the costs. When you first start, it might be a little bit difficult to kind of explain this and kind of get it across the line that way. But as you get more experienced, you'll find that that gets a lot easier. And sometimes these particular businesses can be the easiest to sell to because the cost comparison is just a no-brainer. So what I would do is I would click on each of these links. I would open their web pages. Let's just click on domestic range for these guys. And so here we've got their contact numbers. I might just go into contact us in case there is a mobile number in the back end. I always look for mobile numbers because I get straight to a decision maker, which means that I know pretty fast if they're interested or not. So you'll come up with your own process for doing this. You might open a spreadsheet and I don't know, so what have we got here? All Hills Fencing. You'll type in their phone number, 9960. Actually, typing's not the best. 02 8488 9960, and I might take a copy of their website address just in case I need it when I speak to them. So when I first started this role, what I actually did was I would, come up with my short list of domains and I'd research about 30 people to call. if I, so if I came up with 30 people to call for fencing contractor Sydney, I got to the end of my list and I didn't make a sale, then I would obviously just go and do the research on the fly, find another company, ring them, and keep doing that until I made the sale. So you'll come up with your own process. So, that's the first one. The next one here, we've got DG fencing, so we might put in here DG fencing, the number 1-800-431-824. Now, with these particular phone numbers, so 1-800, don't be deterred from them, because a lot of the times, especially with these smaller, like trade kind of businesses, their 1-800 number or 1300 number just gets directed to their mobiles. So they're the first contacts that I look up. The next ones that you could do is underneath that you've got maps. If you scroll down a little bit and you click on here, which has got more places, this will also bring up a list of fencing contractors. You'll notice the company's name. It'll have their little their category underneath. So you've got fence contractors. This one's obviously AdWords, so it also shows you the people that advertise using AdWords. Now, even though we've got fencing contractors Sydney, all of the searches that are going to come up relevant for me are going to be, around my kind of local area. So, Sydney's a big place, obviously, but it's going to give me the fencing contractors that are closest to me. So just be aware. So when you're doing Google searches, Google will automatically deliver you results that are located, or businesses that are located quite close to you. So when I'm searching for Brisbane and I'm in Sydney, I might have some search results that come up that show Brisbane, but they also might show other businesses that are located close to me. So sometimes you do need to sift through some of that information. So if we just go back, another thing that is a good thing, so remember the AdWords are also at the bottom of the page. Another, I guess, section of Google is a good place to go is I might actually start 5 or 8 pages down the list, because if you think about people who are, on kind of page 5 or, past the first couple of pages, they need a boost in rankings to really get their business exposed to those searches that are happening on a monthly basis or daily basis. A lot of people don't just, when you're looking for a business, people don't just sit there and keep scrolling through pages of businesses. They'll stick with the first or the second page. So anybody who's down the rankings can essentially be easier sales, because they need the boost in rankings, and that's what this domain is going to do for them. So that's, I guess, Google itself. Other places that you can find contacts can be Gumtree. Gumtree can be a good place to find people. So if we go to gumtree.com.au, I'm looking for, let's just put in fencing contractor, and then we type in Sydney, and I might go Sydney region, click the little search button, and then if we have a look through the searches, you can see a range of fencing contractors come up, and it's showing you literally all over Sydney. So it's not just delivering you search results, in a couple of suburbs around you. It's giving you right across the Sydney region. So, for instance, this particular domain name, Fencing Contractor Sydney, there would be thousands of businesses that you could contact. It's a domain name that would get picked up fairly fast. So if we just click on one of these, so let's go this one, Fencing Contractor. So they've got their details here. You can see that they're clearly a fencing contractor. You've got his name here. If you click on show number, there's his mobile number. The beauty about Gumtree is that most people have mobile numbers, so you can get straight to a decision maker. If somebody says to you, look, I don't have a website, we can always link the domain name back to their Gumtree advertising. They might want to create a website later down the track, but it just allows them to secure the domain name now and still get, exposure back to their Gumtree advertising. Facebook is similar. So that's another way that you can find contacts. If we go to Facebook, let me just quickly sign in. Okay, so if we type in fencing contractor Sydney, so you'll see here that a few people show up, or you can click all. I always just click on pages because that's how most people set up their business. And there are a whole heap of others down here as well. Look, the list goes on and on and on. So let's just click into the first one, MCM Sydney Fencing. You can see they're located in Liverpool, so we know they're in Sydney. There's a mobile number to contact them. So again, you get straight to a decision maker. Sometimes people who advertise on Facebook, this essentially is their web page. They don't have a website, so it's the same thing as Gumtree. If they don't have a website, we can link the domain name back to their Facebook advertising. And like I said, later down the track, they may want to create a website, but it allows them to secure the domain name now. The next place that you can search would be Yellow Pages. So if we open yellowpages.com.au, here, don't worry about that, we go fencing contractor. Look, fencing contractors, Sydney. Let's just type in Sydney, New South Wales. We click search. And here are a whole heap of other fencing companies in Sydney. So there I clicked Sydney, New South Wales. You could also do Sydney, Greater Sydney, and that's for all capital cities. So Yellow Pages always has Sydney, Greater Sydney, Melbourne, Greater Melbourne, Brisbane, Greater Brisbane, etc., etc. So if I click on Greater Sydney and click search, there's 603 results. That's obviously a lot of contacts to contact, but it gives you an understanding of how many businesses out there that you could potentially present this opportunity to. Now, in Yellow Pages, the downside with Yellow Pages is sometimes the listings can be out of date. So Yellow Pages is kind of my last avenue for sourcing contacts. The other thing that you kind of need to be aware of is if you're pulling information from Gumtree, Google, Yellow Pages, True Local, a range of other things, you just need to maybe keep a record of the numbers that you're calling, or I believe phones these days show you if you've called the number previously, because you don't want to be ringing the same business multiple times selling the same domain name. So it's just something to be aware of. So with Yellow Pages, you obviously have the phone numbers at the top, links to their website. What I do is, I normally scroll down and I'll look for mobile numbers, because like I said, you know that you can get straight to a decision maker. There's somebody there. So I will always call mobile numbers first, but I know some of the other sales agents prefer to call landline numbers first. So you'll just kind of work out what best works for you. Now, another source to look up contacts is True Local. So True Local, similar to Yellow Pages. So here we've got True Local. What are you looking for? We type in fencing contractor, and we type in Sydney. And so they break it down a little bit further. You've got Parramatta region, Western suburbs, Northern beaches, a greater metro. Let's just click on that one. Click search. And here's a whole heap more people that you can contact. So again, they've got their phone numbers. You can go into each of the listings. Let's just go into this one. Further down, you can visit their website. So if you click on that, it will take you to their website. you know, if you wanted to have a look at it, get more information, see phone numbers, what they do, etc. But yeah, so this is similar to Yellow Pages. I find that this one's probably a little bit more in date. So another good place to look up people. So they're pretty much the main places that we look up contacts for. You can spend, you know, hours doing kind of research, but like I said, when I first started, I'd, you know, pull out about 30 odd contacts to call for each domain name and then do further research on the day if I needed to. Some people like to just do the research as they go. So as they're searching for contacts, they'll make a call. That one didn't sell, then, you know, they'll go to the next one and just keep going. So you'll find a process and method that works best for you. So if we look at another domain name, so real estate Penrith. So real estate, we find contacts a little bit different. So if we go to realestate.com.au, if you go to the top here, you can see Find Agents on the heading. So if we click on Find Agents, pull down this little drop-down menu here. I go Agency by Location. So if I type in Penrith, click on Penrith, click Search, a list of agencies in Penrith come up. So, you know, as you keep going down, it basically has a few pages full of contacts. So if you look at the, so this first one, Agent for You Realty Group. So it's got their address, a phone number, a contact agent and website. I always click on the website. I'll open it in a new web page. And what I'm looking for on the particular agency's website is I'm looking for meet the team, you know, about us, our staff profiles, anything like that. So if we go to the top of their page where all their little headings are, under about us, you've got meet our team. I'll click on meet our team. And what I'm looking for is a principal, a managing director, a licensee, a CEO, any of those kinds of titles. The majority of the time people are called principals, but there are a couple of other titles that they might go by. So this particular team, you've got two people here. So you've got Rod, Director of Sales, and we've got Joseph Vella, Managing Director. So he's the guy that I would want to go to. I would, let's see, maybe open a spreadsheet or wherever you want to put it down. You might want to write it down, whatever works for you. So I would write Joseph Vella. I would copy his phone number. Just want to paste text. Paste his phone number in there, and you might also want to copy his web page just in case you need it whilst you're talking to him on the phone. So he would be a person that I would contact. So I exit out of that web page, and then, you know, I go down further. So Alum Homes, Penrith, I probably wouldn't do because they're more about building houses and so forth. You know, here we've got house and land. I'm kind of looking for agencies that I would like to call. Here's another one, bricks and mortar real estate. So click on website. Okay, so again, we're looking for meet the team or something relevant. So the majority of the time you will find it's under about us. So here we've got about us, meet the team. Okay, so where are they? We've got our team over here, and here you go. So we've got principal. So this David guy I would want to speak to. So we go copy. I might just go paste. I just want the text. And I'll get his mobile phone number. Oh, that didn't work. Hold on a second. Undo. Okay, so if we just type his name in here, David, Sielicky, and then his mobile number 0466 366 549, and then you might just want the link to his website as well. So basically all you do is you keep going through this list of all the agents, clicking on their website, finding the right person to call, writing them down or putting them in a spreadsheet if you want to do it before calling, or you could literally just do this, go to the website, get the phone number, make the call. He might want it, and then you're done. He might not want it, so then you go to the next one, make the call, and just keep doing it as you're making calls. But if you'd prefer to have the list of numbers in front of you first, then you can do that as well. So as you go down the list, if we keep going down, so that's page 2. So you'll see that all of these agencies are still located in Penrith. So as you can see, there's lots and lots of them. So there's plenty to actually call. So we go to the 3rd page. Okay, so by the 3rd page, you've got agencies servicing Penrith. So they're not located in Penrith. They might be selling houses in that area. So these would be the last ones that you would actually call. But like I said, real estate domains get picked up really fast. So, it would be highly unlikely that it wouldn't be picked up by the agents actually located in that particular suburb or area. So just be aware that after you get down a couple of pages, even though there are agencies in there, then they're not located in Penrith. They're just servicing the Penrith area. So they're either selling or leasing properties in the Penrith area, but their agency is located in another area. So that's for real estate. The only other one, I guess, let's open that web page again, could be this wedding celebrant Mandurah. So you can obviously still look them up on Gumtree, True Local, Yellow Pages, Google, etc. But let's just type in marriage celebrants Victoria. Victoria. Now, some professions have their own particular websites where they have a list of different celebrants. So, for instance, see this one here, we've got marriagecelebrants.org.au, find a celebrant in Victoria. If we click on that, we can, I don't know the Victoria area that well, so I'm not exactly sure where Mandurah is. But, say, for instance, we were looking for a marriage celebrant or wedding celebrant in Ballarat. We could click on Ballarat here, and here it gives us a list of all the marriage or wedding celebrants in Ballarat. So you could, basically work your way through this list and, call each of those celebrants. So there is, if this marriage celebrant one, right around Australia, they've got a list of them. So sometimes you will find databases like this for different professions, trades, etc. And you'll normally come across them in a Google search. So that's also another place to find contacts, so something to bear in mind. And I think that pretty much covers all of the research. Like I said, you can get bogged down in research and literally spend hours and hours doing it. Just bear in mind that sometimes the sale could be your first call, it could be your 10th, or it could be your last. So as you get more experienced, you might want to do it on the fly, or like I've said, come up with, 30 odd contacts for each domain initially, and then if you exhaust that list, you can obviously add to it as you go. But like I said, you'll come up with your own process and method as you get more experienced with it. So I hope that gives you a good overview and gives you some guidance on finding some contacts. And if you have any questions, obviously speak with your manager and they can assist you further.